Hi, my name is Sarah Jolly, and I'm super excited to be here to be presenting my Capstone Reflection and everything that I learned through this process in this class. So I'm going to start by showing my ID. It says Sarah Gibbons, but it's only because I recently got my name changed. Okay, great. So I'm excited. Like I said, I'm excited to be here and to present what I learned through this process. So my project goal was essentially centered on patient education. My mentor was a lactation specialist, so I created different educational materials that were targeted for breastfeeding women to address their concerns and common myths that are essentially common among breastfeeding women. So I wanted to use scholarly resources to educate these women, and I created 4 different outlets to create these materials to elicit interest. So the perceived benefits of lactation are they educate women about how to breastfeed, they prepare women to utilize breast pumps and increase milk supply, increase women's confidence in feeding their infants, how to help women maintain a good latch, and they encourage a bond between mother and infant. So the criteria that I had for my mentor was a preceptor involved in a specialty that I was interested in, a preceptor willing and excited to work with me, a preceptor who had worked in their respective field for more than 1 year, and a preceptor who was compassionate and kind to their patients. And I was able to find this in my mentor that I had. She was so excited to work with me, very supportive. She had been working for a long time in her field, and she is always very compassionate to her clients, and I am very interested in women's health, so she checked all the boxes for the criteria for my mentor. As far as practicum goals, my first goal was to increase my knowledge about breastfeeding through scholarly sources. My second goal was to create educational materials that were visually appealing and aesthetic, and then to have involved clients report back that their educational materials improved their breastfeeding experience. So the reasoning for my first goal was I wanted to lay a good foundation for myself to be able to relay this information to breastfeeding women. And I found that through Google Scholar and through reputable resources, I was able to find evidence based knowledge to help these women and to address their concerns. The purpose of my second goal was to elicit interest through creating creative educational materials that were picturesque to gain their interest and to have them wanting to look at the materials that I provided. And I used 4 different types of educational outlets to do just that. And then lastly, the purpose of my last goal was to help assess how the educational materials impacted involved clients. I utilized a survey to ask about their experience and to see what I could have done better and to help others in the future. So the environment of the practicum was done through technology in the different homes of the clients. My mentor is a part of a remote lactation consulting agency. So a lot of it was done over the phone through text messages and going over to her home. As far as adjustments, I had to adjust my time schedule slightly during the course of my project. I distributed the educational materials and post survey in the same week. And then my research process took 1 week longer than I anticipated. As far as difficulties, time management was difficult for me, as well as navigating the technology associated with the educational materials. I had to adjust my time management, and I spent a lot of time practicing on the technology to create those materials. So these are the results of my pre-survey, just to get a baseline of what my clients needed. And I asked what the most difficult part of breastfeeding was, what was the best part, what they would like to learn, and then I had a free answer of what they think would help them in the long run. So my first resource was a checklist, and it was about maintaining a good deep latch according to the results that I received. My second resource was a worksheet about increasing milk supply. My third resource was a video about nipple pain, the causes of nipple pain, and how to improve. And so the link is right under that picture. And then finally, my last resource was a PowerPoint just addressing common breastfeeding questions and concerns, and then debunking myths that are common among feeding women. And so there's also another link to that PowerPoint. And then these are my post-survey results. Overall, everyone thought that the educational materials were helpful and that they addressed their concerns. So this is evidence of my decision making. I was constantly messaging my mentor. Here's an example of me asking for advice on my deep latch checklist, what she thought about it, and then explaining just some of the different questions that I had for her. And we also talked over the phone, and I went over to her house often. So I was able to achieve all of my goals. I was able to achieve my first goal through increasing my knowledge by using Google Scholar and using renowned databases. And then I was able to achieve my second goal through using a platform to help me create aesthetic educational resources. This resource was called Canva. I was able to gain new ideas and I practiced creating those resources, and I was pushed out of my comfort zone and am proud of the progress that I did make with creativity. And then I was able to achieve my third goal because all clients reported that they had a positive experience with the educational resources. So, what I found from the benefits of lactation at the end of this project is it creates individualized care to women who need help breastfeeding, treats women's mental health concerns in regard to breastfeeding as it's an emotional experience, increases women's confidence in feeding their infants, encourages a bond between mother and infant, educates women about breastfeeding and debunk common myths, and then provides educational resources and individualized help outside of lactation specialists. So overall, this has helped me to identify my passion for women's health. It motivates me to look for professions in the women's health arena. It's increased my knowledge about lactation, and it inspires me to use education as an outlet to help others. As far as my leadership skills, I felt that I was able to gain decision making as I was forced to look at what concepts were most important to portray to my clients. I was able to gain creativity through different thinking of different educational outlets to portray my message. And then I became flexible through this project by altering my time schedule and research to what my clients needed. So overall, I started my project by distributing a survey to better understand the needs of my clients, which was nipple pain, increasing milk supply, maintaining a good latch, and using effective time management. And then I also used common myths and misunderstood that were misunderstood by breastfeeding women per the advice of my mentor. I then conducted the research through Google Scholar, and I created 4 different resources for that, 2 sheets, a PowerPoint presentation, and a video, and then distributed all that. And then I sent out the survey, and everyone who participated had a positive experience with it. And how this is going to help future students is it shows how effective visual and educational resources are in nursing practice, shows the value of education and how it affects clients who are struggling, and it also shows that there are creative ways to address concerns in the nursing practice. So overall, this project challenged and grew my knowledge about women's health, and I have a huge passion for breastfeeding, and I look forward to utilizing the knowledge I obtained through this project for my future clients and in my future profession. So that is the end. Thank you so